Welcome everyone to this tutorial. Today we're going to be going over editing and color grading footage in Blender. And let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you need is you need to get some music. And so I've already come here to the audio library that YouTube provides natively. And I'll just maybe find some cinematic music. And let's see. Cinematic and inspirational. And then sure, we'll just go, we found the new horizon, whatever the first one is. So now that we have some music, let's go ahead and come here to blender.org, and you can click the download Blender 2.79 button, and then you can come here and say try Blender 2.8 beta, and then find your operating system. I'm actually running Linux, and I have a 64-bit machine, so go ahead and download that. Once that's done, extract that file onto your computer somewhere. I guess it's a folder with a bunch of files in it, and find the Blender executable. It'll look something, let me see here, something like this, and this is the executable if you're in Linux. If you are in Windows, it'll be an exe file, and I haven't used a Mac in so long, I don't know. But anyway, open up your Blender and you should see something that looks akin to this. And let's go ahead and grab this video editing right here. We'll click on video editing, and if you don't see that, you can come up here to File, New, and Video Editing. All right, so there we go. Now, one other quick modification we should make is come here to Edit and Preferences. And then where it says key map, let's change the spacebar action from search or tools to play. This is important because we're going to be playing the playhead a lot. And as we play the playhead, it can get really tedious to do work up here and then come down and hit the play button. And instead we can just hit the spacebar to do that. So now let's go ahead and use Control and middle mouse button, and we can zoom out to see our entire timeline. And we'll just hit Shift and A and come here to Movie. And I'm just going to grab some footage that I took with my drone the other day. Now I can just hit A on my keyboard to select all and say Add Movie Strip. It'll take a second. And there we go. Now you can see that my movie strip is way out of my timeline. So I'm gonna right click on my mouse and just drag the playhead all the way outside of my video, and you can see that that's 1,638 frames to get outside. So I'll just copy that and I'll paste it here in the end category, and that will then go ahead and make it so that when I play through everything, we're set. Okay, next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Control S to save, and I will just save that in my DJI folder. And I'll save that as DJI Edit. If you notice when we scroll through, there's a large bit of lag that happens. And that lag is not good for us. We need quick, easy playthrough. To get that, I'm gonna left click select one of my video strips, and I'm gonna come here to Proxy and turn on this strip proxy time code. And I'm gonna set it to 25%. And then I'm just going to click rebuild proxy time code, and you can see that it's rebuilding the proxy. And what a proxy is it's a very low res version of the video. This is 4K video at 24 frames per second, so it's very important to go ahead and have a low res version that'll allow us to edit. However, the proxy is just that, it's a proxy. When you actually render your final video, Blender will use the original file. The other thing is that this is a 4K file. So if I can open it with VLC and then come here to Tools and Media Information, and in the metadata, you can see that my video resolution is 4096 by 2160. So I'm gonna go ahead and come here to Blender and type in 4096 by 2160. And now my output resolution is correct. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look down here and it says 23.976. So I'm going to come here to the and set this to custom. And I just want to make sure that my base frame rate is 1 and my FPS is 23.976. Enter. And Blender will round that up to 4. You can see that the proxies are still rebuilding, so let's go ahead and fix the output issue. And the output is where our final video file will go. So I'm going to click the folder button and then come here to desktop, DJI, and I'm going to call this DJI_edit.mp4. Accept. Amazing. Okay, and you can see that our proxy for this first clip is done. So now I'll select the second clip and do the same thing. Go to rebuild proxy timecode and let that work. We can come back up here to the output and go to the file format and select FFmpeg video, and the color will select RGB. And then in the encoding tab, the container will be an MP4 container. We want the video codec to be H.264 and the output quality to be high quality. And then we will have a song that we downloaded at the beginning, so we do want audio, and the audio codec will be an ACC. Perfect. So we've gone ahead and set up all the parameters so that when we are done editing, we can just go ahead and click render, and Blender will render out the entire video. Okay, and last but not least, I'll select this DJI_0009, and I'll go ahead and strip proxy timecode and rebuild proxy timecode indices. Alrighty, so we've gone ahead and rebuilt the indices, but as you can see, there's still a lag as we scroll back and forth along our timeline. And that is actually because we have to come up here to our viewer window and hit N on our keyboard, and then come here to the proxy, and what is that called? Proxy render size right there. And we'll just go ahead and say proxy size 25%. Bam. And now you can see that we can scroll through, there's zero lag, and that will make editing just so much better. Let's go ahead and hit Control S and save. I'll hit A to select everything, and then G and Y, because I need to move all of my strips up one layer. And you can see that there's all these different layers denoted by the differing values of gray. And whatever is on top will be shown first. And for me, I grew up using programs like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere. And in those programs, the video is on top and the audio is on the bottom. So let's go ahead and hit Shift A, and we'll add in a sound. And we can come here to the desktop, and when we found the horizon, that's the song that we downloaded. We can click Add Audio Strip, and you can see the green is the audio, the blue is the video. Now with this audio strip selected, we can come here to View, Waveform Displaying, and View Forms on, not View Forms, Waveforms on. And now we can see the waveforms for our song. And then the last thing that we'll do is come here to Playback and turn on audio scrubbing. This will allow us to go ahead and scrub through, and we can hear everything that's going on. So we have this beautiful song. Let's go ahead and listen to it a little bit. I played by just hitting the spacebar again. I really like this song. So let's go ahead and cut the audio a little bit. Let's listen to this beginning part. I really like that. So let's start about here. And I'm just looking at the waveform, and I'm trying to find a downbeat somewhere where it gets the quietest, maybe about right there. So this is our first cut. Now, in order to cut, we can hit the K key, and the K stands for knife, which means it will cut our strip. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that strip right there, and then go ahead and hit X. Select this piece of the strip right here and hit X and delete. Now I'm going to hit the back to beginning button to set the playhead to the very first frame. I'll select my audio and then I'll hit Shift S. And Shift S will snap any strip that's selected to the playhead. So let's go ahead and hit play again. Don't worry about the video. Yeah, okay, I like that. So now that we've set that, we're just gonna leave the audio. We won't edit it too much. Let me scroll through and kind of see what our video looks like. I like this move right here, so I'm gonna go ahead, select this video and hit K. I don't really like anything that came before it, so I'll hit X and delete that strip. Oh, here, I wanna delete that as well. And it's a nice, I'll come just before that move stops of the drop down and hit K. And now, oh, there's a nice up move, so I'll hit K again, delete this in the middle. Okay, delete that. Great. Now we're on to this. Go ahead and start from there, hit K. This is just my editing process. I go through and I pick out the shots that I like. Of course, it depends on the project. There's certain projects where I plan out shots before, but this was just a beautiful spring day, and I figured let's take the drone out and have some fun. So, come to the end of that move, hit K, and then that's just a straight down shot. Okay, so we have 4 shots. So let's go ahead and the first thing that I'll do is I'll grab this front shot here and I'll hit G to move it, and then I'll move it, and you can see as soon as I cross over one strip with another, the strip that I have selected has a red boundary around it. That means that there's a crossover between 2 strips. And if I just left click, that will snap this strip that I have selected exactly flush with the strip that comes after it. Next, I'm gonna stick my playhead back to the front, and I'm gonna grab this move and hit Shift S and put it there in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and watch this for a second. You know, I think what would be great is a fade here. So I'm gonna go, we're 2 seconds in. I'm gonna grab this strip, the video strip, and here in the opacity, where it says 1, I'm gonna hit the I key. And then I'm also gonna grab my audio strip, and here where it says volume, I'm gonna hit the I key. Now I'm gonna go back to the beginning, and I'm gonna grab the audio strip again, and I'm going to input 0. And you can see that my waveform disappears. And then I just have to hit the I key one more time. And now that audio will fade in. Same thing with this strip, DJI. For the opacity, I'm gonna input 0, and then I'm going to hit the I key one more time. Now you can see this checkered box. That means that there's transparency. But when this gets rendered out, transparency will get rendered as black, so we don't have to worry about that. So if I hit play, let's watch what happens. Okay, so you can see that we had a nice fade in from black. Now, here at this moment where there's the first big boom, let's go ahead and cut this strip. We'll hit K. Actually, I'm gonna hit Control Z, and I'm going to duplicate this first, Shift D, and I'm just gonna put that duplicate over here. Because what I wanna do is I'm gonna put some other shots in there, and then I want to play this shot backwards in order to finish everything out. So I'll select this strip, I'll hit K, and then I'll move that over here, and I'll move this shot right there. I'm just hitting G to move. So let's go ahead and watch it again. Let's go ahead right here at this second boom. And I'm going to show you the next way to edit, which is you grab a shot, and I'll move this one layer up and then hit Shift S. And now you can see that the shot that's on top is the one that's shown. So let's go ahead and play this again. Oops, I duplicated that. I'm hitting the left and the right arrows to go forward or backwards one frame, and I'm looking at the waveform down here to make sure that at the boom is where I get my good edit. So then I'll grab this right here and hit G and bring it in close. Now here's one other way to edit, and that's with these arrows. So I can select the strip itself. Let me zoom out here. I can select the strip itself, and if I hit G, I can move the whole thing. But if I just select one of these arrows, I can actually trim the length just like I was cutting. And it also works with the Shift S shortcut. So I'll just hit Shift S, and you can see that that snapped that end part of that strip right to my playhead. And then I can grab my strip here and grab it and move it together. So actually what I'm going to do is clean this up, and I'm just going to grab this right here and hit Shift S. And then I'm going to come to this point where these two intersect. Grab this bottom strip and the arrow and hit Shift S, and then G and Y and pull that straight down. Now it's very clean. It's all on one layer. Let's go ahead and watch what we have so far. I like that. Let's see, let's grab this shot and bring it up there. All right, at this boom right here. Perfect. I'm gonna grab that shot that we duplicated, hit Shift D. Oops, sorry. Just grab it. And Shift S. Perfect. And now I can hit Shift S and bring this down. So you can see that this shot pulls out, but I want to go ahead and change it to where it zooms in like this. So I'm going to come to the strip tab with the strip selected, and just click the reverse tab. You can see that we got our video back. Let's try and reverse it and see what happens. All right. Oh, you can see here that part of the problem is that we have the fade in from the original beginning right there. And that is easily remedied. Let's come to a place where it says 1 on the opacity, and then we will right click and say clear keyframes. And now it will stay. Now you can see there's this little twitch there at the end of the camera move, so I'm going to come and just edit that out. Okay, so now that we've edited that piece out, we have a nice simple move there, and let's go ahead and watch what we have so far. All right, I like what we have. Let's go ahead and add some color grading just to make it look nice. But before we do, let's set our out point right here. We can see that the last frame that's shown before it goes black is 925. So I'll copy that, Control C, and then I will place that into the end box. And there you go, end. So let's go ahead and put the playhead back at the beginning, hit Shift A, and add an adjustment layer. Then I'm going to hit the end button here, grab the end arrow and hit Shift S, just to make sure that this adjustment layer extends throughout the entire clip. And let's come to a shot like this. This has some fog in the background, so whatever we do to this shot will look great in the others. And now that we've put this adjustment layer there, we can come here to the modifiers. And let's go ahead and add, first thing that we'll do is add a curves modifier. And we'll go ahead and just drag this bottom point in. And you can see that automatically we've added some very good looking. Sometimes it's good to come here to the proxy and set it back to full proxy just to see what we're doing. And we want to be careful because if we pull this point in too far, we make things too dark. So let's go ahead and maybe pull it in about that far. Okay. Now that we've done that, I can come here to the strip options and then down here where it says color saturation. And let's just increase that to maybe 1.5. And now we have a nice looking video, and this adjustment layer will affect every single one of these clips. So now I'm just going to hit Control S to save. I'll come up here to render and display mode and click keep user interface so that my computer is not burdened by any sort of external displays. And then to render, I can come here to render and animation, or I can go to Control F12, and then my output video will be called DJI_edit, and it will be in my DJI folder. So once this render is done, I will show you the final edit. Now, one thing that I want to stress is that this computer that I'm using is not a dream machine by any stretch of the means. You can see that I'm running Ubuntu, and I have a Xenon processor, an Intel Xenon with 4 cores. It's a 2.4 gigahertz, and then I only have about 8 gigs of RAM. And my graphics card, it says unknown here, but I know that it's a Intel GeForce graphics card, so it's pretty old. But I just edited this 4K video. I color graded this 4K video with almost no problem at all in Blender. And that's one of the reasons why I love editing in Blender, is because I can do these super large files and make these big edits with these big files, and I don't have any problems. Even on my laptop, which is actually less of a computer than this, I can still edit 4K video, no problem. My laptop actually can't even run Adobe Premiere right now, but I can run Blender and no problem, and I can edit 4K video, no problem. So I don't have a camera that shoots 8K. I would love to try 8K video at some point just to see how Blender handles it and how my computers would. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna play the final edit over the end credits here. But if you like this video, if it helped you out, if you're just in a good mood today and you feel like dropping a like or subscribing, I would so much appreciate it. If not, that is a-okay as well. Everybody's got to do their thing. But regardless, I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thanks so much. See you next time.